Hajirah, we have a problem. When the new government mandated on minimum salary for the contract staff, our labour cost of this infrastructure project just jumped by 15%.
15%? The client won't increase the budget. We are already on a thin margin. If we pay the contract staff more, where does the money come from?
It comes from automation. I have reviewed the numbers. To offset the wage hike, I want you to reduce the site safety supervisor from 5 down to 2. Or find a cheaper supplier for the safety harnesses. We must stay under budget to keep the company profitable.
But Director, cutting supervisors mean the remaining ones will be overworked and low quality PPE. That's a direct violation of safety standards.
That is your challenge as an engineer. Make it work. Either the project stays profitable, or we might have to let go of the very staff we are trying to pay more. I expect a signed plan by tomorrow.
When budgets are cut to pay our salaries, safety becomes a luxury we can't afford until it is too late.
This is the ethical trap. Do I follow the director's orders to save the company's money, or do I stand my ground to protect the lives of my workers?
Hello, good day everyone. Our topic is ethical challenges of implementing new minimum salary for the contract staff in the engineering industry. The new minimum salary policy in Malaysia was introduced to address rising living costs and to ensure fair compensation for workers. In the engineering industry, this policy is particularly important because many workers are employed as a contract staff, including engineers, technicians, and the site workers. Despite their significant contribution to the engineering projects, contract staff often face job insecurity and limited employment benefits. Based on an interview with an organization officer involved in the governance and operations, the organization has adjusted the salary and allowance for the contract staff following the implementation of new minimum salary. The interview also indicated that there were no major change in the workload, working hours, or workforce size, and that adequate training continues to be provided to ensure safe and effective work practice. However, financial constraints were identified as the main challenge in implementing the policy. The ethical conflict arises from balancing fair wage for the contract staff with the financial sustainability of engineering organization. From the workers' perspective, the minimum salary is necessary to meet living expenses and reflect their technical responsibility. From the employment perspective, higher wages increase the operational and project costs, especially under fixed budget. This creates a moral dilemma between complying ethical labour practice and maintaining the business viability. With that, I will now hand our presentation to HAJIRAH, who will continue the discussion on the contribution factor and ethical analysis. Thank you.
Have you ever wondered what truly holds a building up? It's not just steel and concrete, it's the people behind it. Now imagine what happens when we fail to support those people fairly. When a new minimum salary is introduced for contract staff in engineering, the first sign of trouble is often a breakdown in communication. Ambiguity in how salaries are set creates suspicion, leaving staff feeling left in the dark and eroding the very foundation of trust. Next, we encounter wage compression. This occurs when the pay gap between new hires and the experienced technicians shrinks. The result, skilled workers feel their expertise is no longer valued, leading to widespread demotivation. Finally, in an effort to absorb higher wage costs, companies often respond by piling extra duties onto their staff. This pushes people to a burnout, a practice that's not only unfair but entirely unsustainable. But this is far more than a payroll problem. This is an ethical crisis. Under the Board of Engineers Malaysia Code of Conduct, specifically Clause 1.1.7, engineers are obligated to be objective and truthful in all professional segments. This mandate requires transparency about wages, ensuring that financial justifications are not used to unclear fairness. At its heart, this is a matter of distributive justice, which is the fundamental right of every worker to a dignified living wage. It's also a deontological duty, meaning we must treat people as it ends in themselves, not merely as tools to complete a project. And finally, from a utilitarian perspective, fair pay is very practical. Stressed and underpaid workers are more likely to make mistakes, and in our field, such mistakes can quite literally cost lives. So the pressing question we face is not whether we can afford to pay the people fairly, it's whether we can afford the consequences if we do not. To explore how we can translate this ethical principle into tangible action, I now pass it over to HUSNA.
Thank you, Hajirah. Now it comes to the impact on safety, health, community, and environment, and the suggested solutions. Based on our role play, the increase of the new minimum wage has caused the organization to face financial challenges. The director suggests for reducing the supervisors and use cheap PPE, which will increase the safety risk for workers on site, as demonstrated by the rushed and tired site supervisor. This presents an ethical dilemma. Based on this situation, suggestions for reducing risk include increasing the operational efficiency so that costs can be controlled, ensuring safety training and SOPs are kept up to date. With these measures, worker safety can be maintained while implementing the new minimum wage cost. Next, I pass it to HAONAN.
Thank you, HUSNA. I will now continue with the lessons learned and the conclusion. Lessons learned. One key lesson is that implementing the new minimum salary for contractor staff does not necessarily disrupt the engineering operations when it is properly managed. The organization was able to adjust the salaries without increasing workload, changing working hours, or reducing the number of contract staff, showing that ethical compliance can be achieved without affecting operational stability. Financial constraints remain a challenge, but improving efficiency is a more ethical approach than reducing worker welfare. Conclusion. In conclusion, although the new minimum salary presents financial challenges for engineering organizations, it is essential for ensuring fairness and dignity for contractor staff. Ethical engineering practice require balancing economic sustainability with social responsibility to achieve long-term ethical outcomes.